Sometimes people will use emotional manipulation for the sake of feeling good about themselves, but that is secondary. And I'm staying with the question. One of the highlights of an article on emotional abuse that I was working with talks about how the emotional abuser or emotional manipulator gets a sense of control and power. Well, yeah, they do. If they could make you feel guilty and ashamed, they'll get a sense of control and power. But that's secondary. That's secondary. It's always secondary. The primary, if you look into it and you take it apart and you piece it together, the primary goal, whether it's with a person who's a substance abuse user and their enabler, or whether it's between a couple, or whether it's between any two family members, could be between a mother and a son, could be between a father and a son, could be between a husband and a wife. The thing is, I'm not going to be held accountable for what I said I was going to do, even if you expect it from me or it's commonly expected. And so emotional abuse is a way of hurting another person so that you don't have to be held accountable for what you said you were going to do or agreed to do. And yes, you do feel secondary sense of power and control, but primarily you have other things on your mind. You have a hidden agenda. You've got some other way of thinking in the background of your mind, and you're going to blow this person off. But you don't want to blow them off and have them come back at you, so you create a sense of embarrassment, shame, or guilt in them that they have to deal with in their own emotional confusion. If there's physical violence involved, all bets are off. Safety is number one. And I read an article in preparation for talking about manipulation, emotional manipulation, and it talked about just agree with them. Just say, you're right, you're right, you're right. And that is not a good thing to do when you're trying to have assertiveness training and insert yourself and individuate a little bit. I think, Al-Anon would not talk about agreeing with the person when they're talking about their drug or alcohol habits and different things like that. But it's not about that. If safety and risk are a problem, the best thing to do is agree, get out of the conversation, make yourself safe. And don't bother trying to put up boundaries. Don't bother trying to do unity. When it comes to the acceleration from emotional abuse to physical abuse, you have to be very sure you protect yourself. If it is emotional abuse, these techniques we talked about today will work.